Good evening, everybody.
Welcome back to Competitive Speed Series.
The time has come for 5 red lights. 3 wide through turn 3. Oh, into the wall!
I knew this would happen. I knew they wanted to try something.
AMR have gotten their wish. A 1-2 for the team. Another victory for VNT to put the cherry on top of their dominance. Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to you. Welcome back to Competitive Speed Series. My name is Frostbreath, aka Rob, and we have returned from our week break. Last week, of course, we had the 24-hour charity live event for Mental Health UK, which once again was a great success. I was a part of it as well. If you've watched it, you see me commentating as well as racing for the commentary team. But now we're going back to business as usual. It's going quite well here in CSS so far. We've just arrived at round number 10 here in China, a track I haven't been seeing a whole lot in this game. I believe there have been some issues with the track here and there, but now it has been deemed good enough once again, at least for CSS to get going once more. As for the teams, I just remembered I have completely forgotten to update the standings graphics. Let me real quick do that for you guys. Shouldn't be taking a lot of time. And there we are. Standings. FER, of course, with their brilliant 1-2 last week, have gained quite a lot on VNT, who for the first time in 20 races did not end up on the podium. Their long streak of 20 races in a row since season 6 has now officially come to an end. Now there are only, and it's just a bit in between quotations here, 111 points ahead of FER, which of course still is quite a sizable gap. Anything can still happen though in these final 6 rounds, including this one. So there's still a lot to play for the title. ET8, despite not having a great race last time round, are sitting quite nicely. They're there in P3. They are quite a long way away from TRT, which are currently 74 points behind them in 4th position. Then it is VRM in P5, followed by AMS, only 1 point behind them in P6. So the battle for the last position for the prize money is still going quite hot. OMB are sitting in P7, then followed by SET in 8th place, only 7 points behind them. IRT are in P9 and AZR occupy the last row of this championship standing. Still, they are still eyeing IRT for that 9th place. They're only 11 points behind, but so far it has appeared to be quite the challenge. Still though, I'm happy to say that these are still the original 10 teams from the start of this season. And so far as I'm concerned, and as I can remember, that is an CSS first, that the original 10 teams are all still here, at least in the last 3 or 4 seasons I've been watching. So I believe it's already time to head to the trackside. I hope the volume of the game is loud enough. I had to tune it down myself a little bit last week due to some commentators being a little bit low on volume. Now, however, if it is not loud enough, let me know. I'll quickly jump on board with one of the cars. I believe Alex Santana is indeed the first one out on track here in his Ferrari, headed through turns number 3 and 4, then onwards to the somewhat hairpinish corner of turn 6. Of course, this track is quite tricky. We all know that, and I think it's been a long time since many a driver have been at least driving around this track for a full or actually half race distance. In league racing terms, 50% is of course a full race distance. So yeah, I think it's been a while for some. It's been a while for me for sure. Now Baden Teleki's in the lead of the cars that are on their outlaps at the moment, followed by one of the SET drivers. That might actually be Speedy. No, it's not. It's Zozo. The usual pair there for SET, Speedy and Zozo. We've seen them many a times now for the team. They've been a very constant factor. Let's hope they can bring something special for the team tonight. They need it if they want to climb a bit higher on the standings. As for IRT, they've brought in Thomas Balser and Joaquin Wigley once more. For AMS, Medal and Ollie Hornby in the Haas cars. Then Matteo Manolo, as well as Kane Barnett in the AZR cars. Diego Ferrer, as well as Til Achenbach in the Mercedes cars. For TRT, OMB have brought in Lucas Serra, as well as Vettel. Not the real Vettel, obviously. Then, for ET8, they've made a very last-minute swap to replace Marcel Pabst with this man, Giovanni Baruzza. He is now alongside Redmerds in the McLarens. Then, for the top teams, we've got Balin Telekis in the Red Bull, alongside Lucas SL. He's been replacing somebody today. Rafael Kunsch, I believe, was supposed to drive. Not happening, though. So Lucas is in the second Red Bull. Then for VNT, our championship leaders, Alex Santana and Ivan Santa Maria. And I think that is absolutely everybody, except, of course, for VRM, which have brought in Jeremy Gallonier and Max Belmont. So then, now, some drivers already on their hot laps. Quite a few actually already in. Zozo has retired in the pit lane. I believe he has to serve a qualifying ban for the team. It's not their first one, unfortunately, this season. We've already also seen a team having to serve a race ban. That is AZR. And now Balin Telekis going for the very, very long right-hander of turns 12 and 13. Two consecutive corners in a row right there as they head towards the sharp hairpin of turn 14. It's always enjoyable to watch that one on board. His teammate is right ahead of him. Doesn't get a toe from him though. Would have been nice on a straight like that. For Lucas SL to back out a little bit. And fall back to his teammate. Not happening though. Balin having to do it all by himself as he heads back onto the main straight. Across the line. First lap time of the night. A 1:30.776. Up next, Alex Santana for the championship leading team. The reigning champions as well. He goes into second place, about 2 tenths slower than Balint is. And Thomas Balcher, as well as Ollie Hornby, a 1:31.2 and 1:31.4 respectively. Whoa, my goodness, Alex Santana having a great time out there in turn 1. It's going fast now, Giovanni Baruzza, showing that he's a worthy replacement, going into P4, which becomes P5 now that Til Achenbach has slotted himself into P3. Vettel for ONB, going very fast, 31.1 in P5 now as Jeremy Gallonier goes a little bit faster than Til. It's looking once again like this could be a strong track for VRM. They have been up and down there, literally. At some races they are just clearly at the back. Other races, they are actually fighting at the front. Max Belmont is alongside them more often than not, fighting for the top 5. This time it's Jeremy Gallonier looking faster than Max. As we're watching Lucas SL heading towards the line. Just across the line came Redmerds now in P5. 1 millisecond slower than Til. Lucas trying to get close to his teammate. So far though, Balin Telekis appears to be quite untouchable up there. 2 tenths clear from the next car on the list. Lucas SL gets a little bit closer than Alex could. And now FVR appear to be occupying the front row with a beautiful 1-2 for them for the time being. Kane Barnett then, the only driver without the lap time apart from Zozo, who of course won't be qualifying at all. As Kane also heads through turn 13. Oh, that car looked quite unstable. I was about to say that. And then he indeed spun his car. It's not looking quite happy through the corner, I have to say. Quite the aggressive oversteer Kane had. And now he's either going to try again on this set or just come back in immediately. I think it would probably be best to come back in. As this track is quite brutal on tyre wear, indeed he does. Kane Barnett then, the last driver without a lap time. Impressively, no drivers have invalidated their laps, although it is actually not that difficult to stay within the track limits on this track, apart of course on the exit of turn 16, the last corner. That one is the only real tricky one in terms of track limits. Other than that, I think drivers are going to be quite fine. Perhaps turn 10 could be an issue. The end of sector 2 pretty much. Turns 9 and 10, that particular bit, also quite tricky. Track limits wise, but nowhere near as difficult as say Austria or Canada. Canada especially, of course, so far still a track barely used by any leagues or events due to the weird track limits bugs going on. Some tracks, some corners actually instantly give you a 3-second time penalty, even if you're on 0 warnings. So let's have a little look at the gaps. From pole position all the way down to P13 is within 5 tenths of a second, which immediately answers the question in the chat. Is the top 10 going to be within 5 tenths? So far, yes. But then again, this list only consists of guys who have done their first run. And Thomas Belser is happy to go out already. 10 minutes remain. And he's out for IRT to try and improve. IRT at the moment, 13th and 18th. Together with AMS and AZR. 3 teams with both drivers out of the top 10. Every other team does have at least 1 driver up there. Well, actually, never mind. SET as well. With Speedy in P14 and Zozo, of course, at the back of the grid. That means, well, it's almost like a record. A record 4 teams. So far unable to get themselves into the top 10. Let's see if they can find some extra speed. I mean, they're not that far away, at least not from Ollie Hornby upwards. They're all well within a second. Matteo, Manolo, Medal, both well outside of a second from pole position. Joaquin Wigley hasn't done a proper lap time yet. 4.7 seconds away from pole position. He will certainly find a lot more time on the second run. And then, of course, there's Kane Barnett getting ready for his second attempt. Now, of course, there once again is a pole up in the chat. Is the pole position going to be faster than the 1 minute 30.500? So far, we're more than 2.5 tenths away from that actual qualifying time, with Balin Telecki still the fastest overall. Lucas Azel is the only driver so far to get within 2 tenths of that lap time. And luckily for Balin, that is his teammate. So FVR are looking quite healthy out there. Alex Santana appears to be the closest threat next to Jeremy Gallonier in the second row. Looking quite fast there. I think he's quite happy around this track. Might have practiced it a lot. Till Achenbach, first outing for TRT here in CSS. Also looking quite rapid. Same goes for Redmertz and Diego Ferrer. TRT are looking quite strong. Their drivers are close together. ET8, they're a bit further apart. And their nearest rivals, of course, are TRT. They are fighting them for 3rd position. TRT is about 70 points back in the standings, which cannot be undone by 1 race. We all know that. But there's still every opportunity to close the gap once again. TRT have been in P3 for a little while, as Alex Santana goes half a tenth quicker in Sector 1. But don't forget, the top 2 are on the hot lap now as well. Alex Santana, though, has got a tough job ahead of him. His teammate Ivan Santamaria is all the way down in P10. That's something VDT can't use right now. The gap is still sizable, but if FVR keeps eating away at that gap at this rate, that championship battle might become quite close. 19 milliseconds in Sector 2. Has lost a little bit of time there, Alex has. In Sector 2. You can see the car setup once again, as per usual, very aggressive on the front. Drivers prefer a setup where they can just throw the car in the corners. Ahead of Alex, Ivan is about to finish his hot lap. Let's see what improvement he can find. Kane Barnes is now ahead of him as well, but he's now on the main straight and no longer a problem. What has Alex found in the final sector? Dips his left wheel through the grass, goes across the line, does improve by about a tenth, and does get within 1/10 of Balin Telecki's 1 minute 30.868 so far for him. Speedy next across the line. Finds a little bit of time, 2 tenths of a second, but it's only enough to improve 1 position to P13. So that's not a lot in terms of position. There's Balin Telecki's. Once again goes quicker. 1 minute 30.688. Still well away from the pole time. And Lucas Azel does go fastest overall now with a 1 minute 30.600. And he is now well over 2 tenths clear from Alex Santana. And 88 milliseconds faster than his own teammate. They are looking stronger by the minute. So Eichenbach has abandoned his lap. I think he's already improved. No, he hasn't actually. Diego Ferrer currently sitting in P8. Lucas Serra splitting the TRT car. Serra for OMB also looking quite strong, I have to say. Diego Ferrer does improve massively. Goes to P3. That is bad news for ET8. Redmer's on his way. Giovanni Baruzza, I believe, is not improving either. I think he's abandoned his hot lap, invalidated it. ETA now P5, P14. Their nearest rivals, P3 and P7. P8, actually, as Vettel, I believe, improved to that 7th position. 30.942. ONB have brought a strong lineup. They want to get higher into the standings, preferably closer to the top 5. They're sitting in P7 at the moment, behind AMS. The good news for ONB is that AMS at the moment is well behind them. 15th and 17th. Kane Barnett, well, look at that, still hasn't put in a lap time. Has come into the pit lane once more. In the chat, Maximilian Luckert saying China has always had the tendencies to show a little pace difference between the teams somehow. Well, let's once again have a look at those gaps. There are still 4 teams with both drivers out of the top 10. All the other teams have got at least one driver in the top 10. FVR have got both drivers in there, as does VNT, ONB and TRT. So they are doing quite well. And FVR are still looking out the front row. Alex is their nearest threat, but at least they've now got Diego Ferrer as a sort of buffer in between themselves and Alex Santana. So far, so good then for the team decked out in Red Bull colors to close the gap to the championship leaders even further. VNT, of course, looking to return to the podium. They had that brilliant streak of 20 races in a row. That was a rare thing to watch. They lost it in Singapore. They were quite close, though. Their highest finish was P4, and I believe the margin between that position and P3 wasn't that big, as far as I can remember. So that's what it is. Max Belmont is eager to get going early in case he makes a mistake. And I think if you make a mistake, you'd rather do it earlier on the lap than later in the lap. Otherwise, your tires might be cooked already, literally. Max P11. His teammate Jeremy P6. VRM looking quite nice. Trying to get back at TRT for P4. They've got some work to do, though, as TRT on average is looking a lot better at the moment. Max Bellman, though, is going to try and change that position for the team. Going through the extremely long right-hander, turns 1 and 2. Then, of course, all the way left to turns 3 and 4. A little bit of a tiny bend in the road up here, turn 5, then to the semi-hairpin, turn 6 right here. 2/10 quicker for Max, which is, I have to say, quite a big improvement for the first sector alone. And I wouldn't be surprised if that indeed actually is purple there. Which means one or two things. Either Max was absolutely flying in sector 1, or that and the track improved massively in these final few minutes, which might pose good news for the other cars as well. Let's see how well he does in sector 2. Lost quite a lot of time. He's not the only driver to do so. Looks like in sector 2 drivers lose a lot of time today. That's a 10th loss there, pretty much. That's a shame. Currently looking to go well within the top 10. But when he was in sector 1, it looked like a top 7. Let's see what he can do then in the final 2 corners. 3 corners, actually. He missed the apex a little bit there. Don't think that was perfect. Then through the final corner onto the main straight. What can Max do from here? It will not be pole position, but it will for now be P5. Not bad, actually. And VRM now P5 and P7. It's really busy out on track at the moment. Everybody is out there. Everybody qualifying. Thomas Balcher trying to get into the top 10 for the team. IRT, one of the 4 teams without a driver in there. Thomas attempting to change it. Difficult sector here. 3 corners in a row, turns 8, 9, 10. Looks like he nearly got through it perfectly. Bit of a wobble there on the exit. 71 milliseconds quicker in sector 2. Where does that bring him? I would say actually P11. It's still not good enough to get into the top 10. More time needs to be found. I think ahead of him it is one of the McLarens. That is Giovanni Boruzza, who's going to get across the line before IRT's Alpine there. So let's see then if Giovanni can get himself into the top 10. That's a shame. Invalidated in the last corner. Would have been 2 tenths faster. Would have been well within the top 10. But it wasn't meant to be. Shaking the car in frustration. Thomas Balcher misses out of the top 10. Just barely though. Speedy's up next. Doesn't improve. Well, he does improve in lap time, not in position. Matteo Manolo. Actually, it's Kane Barnett up next. And I think Alex Santana. No, it's Ivan Santamaria about to finish his lap as well. He needs to get into the top 10 too. But I think he's... well, actually, no, he hasn't backed out. Oh my goodness, that was a terrifying, I should say, terrifying final corner there. He does improve by a tiny margin, but stays P12. That is painful for VNT. Redmards finishes in P6 at best. Till Achenbach improves to P3, 2 milliseconds ahead of his teammate. Diego Ferrer is still in his way. Is he going to try and snatch away pole position from the FVR drivers? They are now occupying the entire second row. The Mercedes team is. Diego Ferrer across the line. Does improve. A 10th away from pole position. Not good enough. Bayland goes into P1 once again. 30.574. Lucas Azel. Can he break that pole? He can't. But they do lock out the front row. Perhaps, though, Alex Santana's got something. No, it's Jeremy Gallonier who's got something to say about it. That was a big surprise right there. It is Jeremy Gallonier on pole position. Where did that suddenly come from? Out of nowhere, Jeremy spoils FVR's party. And he removes the buffer that they had to Alex Santana. Incredible! 1 minute 30.473. He caught everybody by surprise. Jeremy Gallonier for VRM. Pole position for the team. They will be extraordinarily happy with that one, I'm sure. Kane Barnett does set a lap time. Stays in last position, though, of disqualified drivers. But man. Wow. Very nice pole lap time indeed. And thanks to him, those who voted that it would be faster than a 30.5 were actually correct. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been. So, bro, just spawn in for 1 lap then. Well, that last lap was good enough for pole position. I feel like he himself might actually be surprised as well. Let's see in the driver's chat. Is there something? Apart from a big gif from Danny Cofield, not very much happening. Anyway... Ace has allowed the drives to ready up at 27 minutes past, which is under 2 minutes from now. The weather has turned quite overcast, and I feel like we're on the verge of some rain. At least, it looks like it. And now, of course, the big question is, what are FVR going to do? I think Jeremy is going to be quite vulnerable, despite starting for pole position. He's got 2 FVR drivers behind him, and they are... eager to get that win. They are eager to get the 1-2 again from Singapore. Carry on that good run they had in there. And of course, they've got Alex Santana right behind them. Alex, though, is alone. And Ivan is a bit further back. Out of the top 10. And that means Alex, for now at least, is going to be on his own, fighting his rivals. TRT have done a great qualifying as well, of course. They are starting right behind Alex Santana. That's less than ideal for ET8. We've got Redmerds nearby them. Giovanni Boruzza a bit further back. That is how it is. So it's going to be a very interesting race to watch. I think VRM are going to try and get victory tonight. But they'll have to do everything perfectly. And they would probably like it if Max makes up some positions at the race start. I don't think he's too far behind Jeremy from what I can remember. I think he's still in the top 10, Max Belmont is. So if you can make up some race positions at the start, that would definitely help out Jeremy a great deal. But that, of course, is all speculation. We're going to have to wait out and see what the race actually does, what the weather is actually going to do. Whether those raindrops that are hanging in the air might just fall down, make the track a little bit more wet, perhaps allowing the drivers to put on the intermediate tires and make the race a little bit different, a little bit more interesting perhaps than what we can see in the dry conditions. But you never really know. So far, CSS have delivered great races from all of these 20 brilliant and very fast drivers. It is now 27 minutes past, so any second now we'll be heading to the track and the 5 red lights, and then round 10 here in China will be underway for CSS. We'll see if FER can continue to close the gap to their rivals VNT, 111 points away in P1 in the standings. It's a big gap, but then again, keep in mind, 68 points can be gained at a maximum in a single race with P1 and 2 pole position and the fastest lap, all in total, bringing that amount of points in. They will not get the pole position points. That is for VRM. They'll be delighted with that one. A slight worry there for TRT in 4th position. And bad news for AMS, trying to fight VRM in P5. They are nowhere near VRM at the moment. Looks like... there we are. I was about to say very few drivers have gotten the memo. So let's see if Jeremy Gallagher can keep first position. He'll be on the outside in turn 1, which might be a disadvantage, or perhaps not. Let's see how well he does get off the line. Balin Tilikis is already on the offensive. Tries to get his Red Bull side by side with the Sauber. Already on the inside and ahead, technically, of Jeremy Gallagher. Jeremy is going to try and get back at him in turn 3 or 4, perhaps. No, looks like he will have to slot in, settle for second place. Splits the FVR car, sorry. As Lucas is in 3rd position. Diego Ferro's got a great race start as well, ahead of Alex Santana, who's been now bumped down to P5, with Till Achenbach trying to pressurize the Ferrari from behind. Looks like Diego Ferro wanted to have a go at the Red Bull of Lucas. Couldn't find a way past, many position changes behind them as well. Till Achenbach trying to defend from Vettel, as well as Redmertz trying to get alongside the Aston Martin at the same time. Getting a bit better traction. Looks like the tire difference indeed there is visible, as Vettel has started on the hard tires and Redmertz on the mediums. But Vettel, though, is on a roll, trying to attack Till Achenbach, though he shouldn't have done that in turn 10. Now he's lost a position. We've got a yellow flag in the background. That is Speedy, who is spun out of control. Car, at least visually, looks to be all right. Max Belmont, though, now fighting for P12, far away from his teammate in that position right there. And a lot of battles, at least in the opening phase of this race medal, getting ahead of Giovanni Baruzza for P14. And now we're going to see what Balin Tilikis is going to do against Jeremy Gallagher. That's a great run on the back straight. Tries to have a move around the outside, but of course his hard tires won't give him that grip that he needs to make the move. I think it will be wise for him to settle in second place, but he's of course got a lot of pressure from behind, because as you can see, the tires right here, most drivers have opted to start on the hard tires, which might actually indicate that rain might be on the way. Usually we see drivers start on the medium tires and then move to the hards, but this time around it's been quite vice versa for most of the drivers. There's 6 drivers actually who started on the mediums, Thomas Belcher being the lowest ranked of them, trying to get off the line well. And Ace just confirmed that there will be no rain. So this then is the strategy to go for this race. Start at the hards and then move to the mediums, which is a rare thing to see indeed for full dry conditions. So then, slowly things settle down after lap 1. Zozo is making his moves from last place now up to 16th place, trying to take it over from his teammate. Side by side through turns 7 and 8, but he's got wing damage and can't stay ahead of Kane Barnett, who's moved up into P16 now, almost into the points there, as he now tries to chase down Giovanni Baruzza for that last point paying position. Giovanni, you can see him right here, trying to get some more points in for the ETA team, 3rd in the standings. P15 is not something they need now. P7 is a little bit better, but with their nearest rivals in P4 and P6, Looks like TRT are definitely on defensive. Jeremy Gallagher now with a good move, thanks to DRS on the outside and inside, then back into the lead of the race. But now he will not have DRS. That might make him vulnerable to a double attack from FVR, although I think we'll actually see that attack happen on the back straight rather than the main straight, as indeed Jeremy will now be too far away. They've got a much longer run in the next DRS zone. And they've got, at least for now, grippier tires. So they need to get a good run out of turns 12 and 13. And then they might make that double move and claim the 1-2 they need to control the race and close the gap a lot faster. In the meantime, Alex Santana I was about to say is in P6, but he does attack Diego Ferrer for P5. Beautiful move right there by Alex. Very decisive. Despite his hard tires, he has made it look quite easy. And Till almost lost the position to Redmerds as well due to that move. And now he still has to defend against the McLaren right there. Of course, TRT are not looking to fight VNT. Instead, they're looking to defend against ET8 to get that third position a bit closer into view. So Redmerds is the prime target for Till. And he would probably prefer to be ahead of Alex Santana for that reason. Jeremy Gallagher has got a brilliant exit. Look at that. He's actually gapping Bayland right there. I'm not sure what he's been eating, what type of fuel he's been putting into his engine today, but he's rapid. Very, very rapid. Bayland nor Lucas has an answer on the back straight. They can't close the gap enough. I feel like Jeremy has taken a very low wing setup, which allows him to defend massively. Once again, the fastest lap, despite being on the harder compound tires. He's faster than everybody else right now. I feel like he's been practicing this track a lot. At least a lot more compared to the rest, that's for sure. And yeah, now he's reaping the rewards, so to say. His teammate Max Belmont is stuck in an Alpine sandwich, IRT ahead and behind him. That heart is working indeed. Well set there, Unai. It's working for Jeremy, that's for sure. Of course, tire wear is quite a thing here on this track. A lot of fast corners, just eating away at the rubber. And Bayland will have to settle for second place for now. His teammate is right behind him. This is still a good haul of points for the team. Alex Santana is in P5. Stuck in between the Mercedes, but he's got the hard tires. So he will be going on a different strategy compared to both FVR and TRT. That might benefit him in the later in this run. And in the second stint as well. No overtakes then on the back straight this time round. Looks like things are settling down. And Matteo Manolo in P19 is unable to keep within 1 second. And that allows Speedy to attack. Oh, that's Ollie Hornby going extremely wide out of turn 14. Both cars are cruising past, or are they? Speedy tries to get through. Oh, my goodness. Ollie tried to stay on the inside. Usually not the best place to defend in turn 16. And now he's lost a bit of front wing as well as connection to the main group. Ollie Hornby then all alone at the back of the field. 9 seconds away from Matteo now. His teammate Medal in the points. Some consolidation there for AMS. Speedy and Matteo now all by themselves too. Trying to get back to the main group. Zozo is the tail end of this big group. Perhaps he can just drop just enough to allow Speedy to get back within DRS range. Looks like he's actually trying to do so. The gap is shrinking quite rapidly. And Zozo is losing more time, I think, than he normally would. And Speedy just barely tries to hang on right there. Now, FVR's got some thinking to do. They've got a very fast driver ahead of them. It appears that, indeed, Jeremy is too fast on the straights for the Red Bulls to catch up to, or let alone even overtake them. So what's the strategy going to be? Of course, they will be coming in much sooner than Jeremy will. That will definitely allow them to claim that one too. And then Jeremy's got some thinking to do. So perhaps FVR is actually quite relaxed at the moment. Jeremy's faster for now. But as soon as they go to the hard tires, they will put in some good laps potentially. And then claim that one too. And once Jeremy's behind them, they can just control that race. And not allow Jeremy to overtake. But he will be on fresh mediums in the last stint. We'll have to see how that one plays out. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. And let's see what TRT are going to do. They got the podium within their sights. With Diego Ferrer and P4 still within DRS range of the next car ahead. Alex Santana, though, is looking to get ever closer to Diego's gearbox. Hard is faster now, indeed. Well, in Jeremy's case, the Hard was faster from lap 1. And I think they'll all have to look a bit more backwards, because there's Alex Santana right in between these medium users. Getting faster every lap as well. Or actually, the mediums are getting slower. So Alex as well is just waiting patiently. Lucas Serra, though, looking for a move on Redmertz, getting awfully close to the McLaren there. Not something ET8 can use. OMB can definitely use it. I think with a well-timed dive, Lucas could have made a move there, but he's decided to stay patient. Redmertz is on the mediums, and Lucas knows it. Jeremy once again the fastest lap of the race. 6 laps old hards, and he's still going faster every lap. And now looks like Lucas is trying to line him up for a move, but there's just too far away, isn't he? Perhaps trying to take advantage of the now superior hard tire grip compared to the mediums. Max Belmont, in the meanwhile, looking like he's already escaped the Alpine sandwich, actually, and is now looking to make a move on Ivan Santamaria. For now, though, P11 and P1 for VRM. I'd say they're having a great day. It looks like Max is actually on the move. He's very close to Ivan at the moment. He's going to have to stay behind for a little while longer, I'd say. On the back straight, if he gets a good exit, might just make the move. Look at that. He's keeping Ivan on edge, that's for sure. Trying to force the Ferrari into a mistake, so let's join him on board. Feel like there's a move coming up right there. Ahead of them, you saw Lucas Serra and Redmertz being close together once again. It looks like actually Lucas Serra is now making the moves. Well, before the hairpin happens, he's through. Max Belmont perhaps with a dive against Ivan. No, I think Ivan actually bumped into Vettel right there. Trying to brake as late as he could. Trying to stay ahead of Max Belmont. Looks like at the moment Max might actually be faster than Ivan. Lucas Serra has now lost DRS to Redmertz. Redmertz was no longer able to keep up to the top 6. And Lucas is now trying to be the one to close that gap once again to under 1 second. Looks like he actually can get that job done thanks to Till's medium tires being old and slow now. Looks like the chat got momentarily disconnected there. I hope the stream is still alright. Oh, that's Ivan Santamaria. Having lost a lot of positions. Losing even more now. P14. A very unusual place to be in for a VNT driver. But it is what it is now. Ivan Santamaria appears to be quite unhappy out here tonight. VNT looking to be in a little bit of trouble. Defending against FVR. They're not even able to fight the Red Bulls at the moment. There's a Mercedes in the way. Alex is still not through. He's waiting it out. DRS is all opening once again. Alex about half a second away. Joaquin Wigley and Thomas Belcher swapping positions. Of course, Joaquin is now on the faster tire. And Thomas has been losing time to the top 10. That means now it's up to Joaquin to close that gap, but it's almost 2 seconds by this point. Might be too little too late. Vettel has successfully closed the gap to... sorry, Lucas Serra has successfully closed the gap to Till. That's what I should say. And Redmers has been able to follow. At least for now. But it's now Vettel, the other O&B car, knocking on the McLaren's door. 2 teams from the top 3 in the standings are in a bit of trouble. ET8 and VNT. ET8 and P8 and P15. VNT P5 and P14. Well, the P5 is not too bad. It's something they're not used to. We've seen VNT on the podium, as I said many times now. 20 races in a row. Up until last time in Singapore. But it just missed out. Looks like Alex is now getting closer to Diego Ferrer. Trying to get that 4th place from him. But he might still be too far back to make the move. 3.5 tenths now. Using his battery. He's getting awfully close. Will it be good enough? He's going for it. He's actually going for it. A dive in turn 14. Making short work of the Mercedes. 2 moves on both Mercedes. Both of them very good indeed. He had to, because I think he saw that Diego was about to lose DRS. Oh, that's Thomas Balcher. Oh, never mind. He's actually pitting. Thought he had lost control, but there he is. The first driver to ditch the mediums to go for the hards for the remaining 20 laps. Till Eichenbach is in serious trouble now. He was in 4th moments ago. Now he's fighting for P6 and P7. He's got Lucas Serra right behind him. Actually, almost alongside him. Tried to close the door. Too little too late, though. The Aston Martin moving through. Looks like now the time has come to ditch those mediums indeed. Thomas might have made a great decision there to go early. But he might pay the price by the end of it. Let's see if other drivers are going to ditch the mediums at the end of this lap. They are now 9 laps old. Lucas Serra almost breezed past, as did Alex. I think Till might have wanted to pit as soon as Alex moved past to get the undercut done there on several drivers. Now Alex is right behind the FVR drivers. The fights between these 2 teams we've seen so often on track. Don't think it's going to be a big fight, to be honest. I feel like the FVR drivers are going to come in very soon. Red Mertz losing a position against Max Belmont. Max now up to P9. What's the FVR going to do? Balint carries on. Lucas is the first one to pit. And Alex Santana, of course, carries on for another lap. I feel like they wanted to break DRS from Alex. For now, Alex is out of DRS range. Shouldn't be too long for him to catch up, though. Several drivers now ditching the mediums. Diego Ferrer, Redmers as well, in the pit lane for the hard tires. Now things are going to change around for sure in the order. Of course, Lucas Zell with his pit stop once Jeremy has pitted will definitely be in the race lead. He comes out in P16 till Eichenbach. The pain carries on. Oh my goodness, what on earth is going on here then? Vettel's gone wide. Feel like he was trying to get past Till. Till is still ahead though on those old mediums. And Vettel is now in the mud. And it's allowed Max Belmont to catch up massively. He's now in P6. Of course, being held by the pit stops. Let's not forget that. And he's trying to get past Till as soon as he can. He will have DRS. He'll be flying on the straight. Look at that. He's nearly passed into corners before DRS even starts. Onto the back straight they go. Should be easy work for Max there. Till moving out of the way pretty much. Probably realizing that he's going to pit this lap anyway. 1 lap later than Diego does. I think Balint Leckis is going to do the same thing. At the end of lap 11, Balint Leckis does indeed pit. We've got a yellow flag. That's Ivan. Oh my goodness, he's having a nightmare of the race tonight. No damage, at least not visually. Had a problem in turn 14. Now the last two medium users are in and replacing their tires. Ivan then up to P8, chasing Medal for P7. But it's not looking great for Ivan, at least for the moment. Thomas Belcher now with the fastest lap of the race. On 2-lap-old hard tires, showing that those tires are indeed the way to go. And luckily for Till, he's pitted just in time. 1 lap later and Thomas would have been ahead. And with the pace difference that Thomas and Till had on the first stint, that would have made Till very unhappy. At least this is still a benefit for Thomas, I think. If he can stay within DRS range, he can just follow the Mercedes. And they can together try and chase down the rest of the pack. Redmerz is ahead as well of at least one TRT car. That's what ET8 needs. But he's then 3 seconds away from Diego, who's pitted on the same lap. Bailey Teleki's Lucas Ezel still ahead of Diego Ferrer. Of course, they all pitted, except for Bayland, on the same lap. Bayland pitted 1 lap later. Max Belmont now ahead of Lucas Serra. Max keeps it up like this. We might see the first time that VRM lead with a 1-2. Looks like Serra has got something to say about that. And I feel like Max and Lucas are actually working together here to catch the lead pack. Jeremy and Alex. Although, to be fair, Jeremy is by himself. 1.6 seconds clear from Alex. That means Alex might be vulnerable to Lucas and Max. And Max really, really wants to catch Alex right here to help out his teammate. Alex is fighting for a podium, that's for sure. And if Max can catch the Ferrari, then VRM might have an even bigger party after tonight. There's still a long way to go though, we're not even halfway through. We'll be waiting until at least lap 17, I'd say, until, oh, well, the yellow flag. Matteo in a spot of bother. Looking to be fine though. Both end plates are still on the wing. Might have just lost control of the car. Let's see what Max and Lucas are going to do. They are 2.4 seconds away now from Alex Santana. Max is getting DRS. And indeed, it looks like they are working together. Lucas is not defending. I think this is smart. This is very smart. Ooh, Max does outbrake himself though in turn 14. That will definitely not help them close the gap. The gap is now back up to 2.5 seconds. What is going on with Matteo though? Once again, a yellow flag for him. It's as if his tires are completely done. He's just sliding through every corner. Max Belmont now closing the gap to 2.3 seconds. I think it could have been less if he hadn't outbraked himself in turn 14. But indeed, even through the corners, he appears to be faster than Alex. Bailyn Teleki's now with the fastest lap of the race. I think the mission right here for VRM is to get their drivers together. That might be the only way to beat FVR. Now they've got their cars in prime position for a 1-2 once again. They've got Diego as a buffer. They might even have Redmerz right now in between themselves and Jeremy. As well as Till Achenbach in P17. And Bayland is catching Zozo pretty rapidly. Now less than 5 seconds away from the Williams. But that group is a long train of cars. Would that be a problem then for FVR? Because they won't pit for at least another 3 or 4 laps, I'd say. And by that time, they'll be pretty much on the back of this long group led by Ivan Santamaria, which is also interesting. Since Ivan is leading this group and his nearest rivals are approaching them rapidly, Ivan might actually try to do something here to hold back Bayland and Lucas, to allow Alex with a fighting chance. It will also help VRM, but I think that doesn't really matter to Ivan anyways. VRM are nowhere near a threat for the championship. FVR much more so. They're now 3.2 seconds away from the tail end of Ivan's group. We'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Max Belmont, less than 2 seconds away now from Alex. He hasn't gained as much on this lap as he did in the previous one. Looks like Alex has upped the pace a little bit. Might have been given the hurry up by his race engineer. His gap to Jeremy remains stable now at 2 seconds. Here from Belmont's point of view, the Ferrari well within sight. 1.6 seconds now. Alex is struggling compared to Max now. He's gained another few tenths there. Still no DRS. Looks like it's a VNT versus VRN right now. Not something you'll hear too often. And of course there's also ONB, but Lucas Serra is dropping now from Max. He's not able to follow the Sauber right there. He does still get DRS. He was within a second on the detection point, but he actually went out of a second in turn 13. It allows him to stay close. It looks like Lucas might have used a bit more of his tires than he would have liked. Giovanni Baruzza getting out of Ivan Santamaria. Balin Telekis is pretty much there now, leading his group to the cars that have yet to pit. There we are. This is going to be interesting to watch. How quickly can Balin and Lucas cut through this group? Zozo has already moved out of the way. Has decided to ditch the hards on lap 16. He's going to have to carry them all the way to the end of the race, those mediums. It looks like Ivan is having Speedy now all over the back of him. Stays ahead for the time being though. Giovanni Baruzza now in the lead of this group. I wonder what message Ivan has been given by the team. Looks like Matteo has also decided to ditch the hards, on which he spun out twice. Kane Barnett has just let Balin through. The grid difference being too much for Kane to defend. Of course, he knows that this is not his race. He's fighting with those that were in the group that he's currently in. He's got no business fighting the Red Bulls, really. And he wisely moves out of the way of all of them. Smart decision. He will still get DRS. He'll still be able to follow. And now Balin Telekis is right behind Ivan Santamaria. Speedy was no match. Ivan actually does go defensive. Indeed he does. I knew this one would come. I knew Ivan wasn't going to yield as easily as the other cars. And Balin knows it. And Ivan stays ahead. This is crucial time that is ticking away for the Red Bull. He barges his way through, but he's going to have to go around the outside. Ivan will actually defend once again on the final corner. Whatever his tire age is, he doesn't care. He won't win the race, but he can at least try and hold up the Red Bulls. And he's doing a swell job so far. In fact, it's nearly Speedy who's coming back at him, realizing that Ivan is actually going defensive. Lets the other Red Bull through. That's going to make it even more difficult now for Ivan to defend. 1 versus 2. Yellow flag once more. Not sure what for. But we're watching this battle intently. Balin Telekis, will he go around the outside? He's got superior grip, braking as late as he can. Ivan, though, defends the inside on the ancient hard tires. Can he stay ahead? No longer. No longer. Now splitting the Red Bulls. Tries to swoop right back around the outside. Nearly made it work, but look at that. Those tires are dead. But he's sacrificing his race to make FVR's life as difficult as possible. And you can't blame him for that, really. Now Balin is all over the back of Giovanni. I don't think Giovanni is going to put up as much as a fight, but Ivan now, the second Red Bull, trying to keep him behind as long as he possibly can. And once again he manages, and through goes Diego Ferrer actually. Onto the back straight. Ivan has been a big headache for the FVR drivers, but it's all fair racing, I have to say. A bit argy-bargy, but nothing out of the line, if I'm honest. And now Lucas still fighting the Ferrari, as well as Diego. And then Ivan, this I think is the moment that he will pit for fresh tires. Does he? No, he doesn't. Carries on for another lap, because why not? Alex Santana puts on his fresh mediums, as well as Max Belmont, sorry. Jeremy Gagnon is already pitted out of our review. There he is. He's already at the back of this group. It has definitely helped Jeremy that Ivan has gone very aggressive. And he's already within range of the FER drivers. He's still got to deal with a few cars. Redmerds, for example, as well as Speedy. But with Jeremy's pace, that shouldn't be much of a trouble. Look at that. Redmerds trying to hang on around the outside, but Jeremy's got so much more grip. Also getting a yellow flag. I feel like Matteo's carrying a yellow flag on board or something. Not sure what's happening. I think actually it was Kane. Never mind. Whoa, Ivan. Oh, has he damaged Jeremy's wing? I think he hasn't, no. Jeremy's wing is still fine. Ivan doesn't really have to defend hard against Jeremy. I think he wants to let Jeremy through to allow Jeremy to harass the FER drivers. I think Jeremy prefers to have DRS at this point. So Eichenbach is already behind the Sauber right there. Jeremy Gallagher trying to get a win for the VRN team. Now side by side with the Ferrari. Let's see what Ivan does about this one. Diego Ferrer getting overtaken by Lucas. And now FER control the field. Jeremy Gallagher through into P4. 2.3 seconds away from the top three. They're all by themselves. Balin Telekis has escaped. I think Lucas has actually allowed that to happen. I think that's a smart move. They want Balin to get away. To get themselves a bigger chance of winning the race. They know that Jeremy is going to be very quick. Ivan Santamaria managed to get himself a 10-second penalty in the pit lane. But he's done his job. That's the most important thing. Alex Santana in P8, but also on much fresher tires. And everybody now is pitted for the new tires by this point. Vettel and Medal fighting for P12 right here, as well as Joachim Wigley staying ahead now in P11. Max Melbond back down to P10. Scratch that, P9. As he gets ahead of Thomas Balcer, who pitted early. He's now paying the price for the big undercut. He did, but he's still in the top 10. And well ahead of his teammate, 7 seconds clear. Yeah, all he needs to do now is follow this group of cars. And look at it, Jeremy is already up to the back of Diego Ferrer. Does Diego have an answer? He's a bit far back to Lucas. Looks like Jeremy will get a better run on the Mercedes than Diego will on the Red Bull. Will Jeremy go for a dive? He goes for a dive from quite far away. Diego, though, doesn't really make a big deal out of it. He knows he can't defend, at least for now. But those mediums, of course, we all saw in the first stint, they wear off quite quickly. But those hards do have some tire age under their belt by this point. And Jeremy is now lining up Lucas for a move. Max Belmont actually gets the fastest lap of the race. He's in P9, still trying to overtake Redmerds. There's a big group of cars here. That's going to cost him a lot of valuable time to get an even bigger result. Till Eichenbach will be very unhappy so far. Oh, he's getting sandwiched there between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. And Jeremy Gallagher around the outside in turn 6. Takes second place away from Lucas. And all that's in the way between himself and the victory tonight is Balin Telekis on 8-lap-old hard tires and as well as 1.3 seconds, which is going down rapidly. I feel like that once Jeremy is ahead of Balin, he'll have enough straight line speed to keep the Red Bull behind. But how well will those tires hold up by the end of the race? There's still 8 full laps to go. Max Belmont gets ahead of Redmerds in P8 in the meantime. Oh, Redmerds doesn't get a great exit, slides too much, allowing Max Belmont to get away and now try and turn his attention to Till Eichenbach. Till, well, it's almost like he just welcomed Max to just, here you go, here's P7, see you later. No problem at all. It's all yours, mate. Lucas Serra now up next for Max. He might actually finish P5 if he keeps it up like this. But now he's up against other medium tire users. Lucas Serra, 1 lap older mediums, has undercut the Sauber. We saw on the first stint that Max is a little bit faster than Luca is. And already he's showing it. In the meanwhile, Jeremy Gallonier is all over the back of Balin Telekis. Lucas has been dropped by the Sauber. Feel like Balin might want to back up Jeremy into his teammate. Lucas has allowed Balin to escape. But it might actually be wiser to have Lucas alongside him, or at least closely behind him. But so far, it looks like Balin prefers to try and go as fast as possible to stay ahead of Jeremy. But this is just going to be a sitting duck situation for Balin, I'm afraid. Jeremy still has the superior grip, and he's got the straight line speed to now try and fully attack Balin Telekis for the lead of the race. DRS open. No DRS obviously for Balin. He doesn't defend. He knows Jeremy will make the move anyway. And through goes Jeremy into first place. Goes a bit wide in turn 14. Stays ahead still. His teammate Max Belmont makes the happiness for the team even bigger as he moves into P6 once again ahead of Lucas Serra. And now looking to attack Alex Santana for P5. The strongest team tonight, I think, is VRM. Not FVR, not VNT. VRM. They might have done their own 24 hours of practice, pretty much. We had a 24 hours charity last week. I feel like Jeremy and Max have done a 24 hours of China practice somewhere between then and tonight. Jeremy has already left Balin out of DRS range. Feel like FVR will for now have to settle for second and third. Will Alex and Max potentially be a threat to the final podium place though? Remains to be seen. Alex wants to be within DRS range of Diego. Otherwise he is vulnerable to Max. Looks like Alex is actually going to make that DRS on Diego. At least means he's got some defensive capabilities against the charging Sauber. I feel like my chat is no longer working. Either that or just nobody's talking anymore. But since it has been disconnected, it's been awfully quiet. And I feel like there's been enough happening that people are actually talking. I just can't see it. So if you're hearing this, type a message. And I hope I can see it. Otherwise, well, not much I can do about it, I'm afraid. Ooh, Diego Ferrer going defensive. Nobody talking. Alright, excellent. Thank you, Danny, for confirming that it's just been quiet. Alex Santana on the fresher mediums, trying to get round the outside and then the inside of Diego Ferrer for 4th place. And he does get through. The same goes for Max Melvant. He makes the most of the Mercedes being on the back foot. Into P5. And I think, potentially, VRM could end up with a double podium tonight. Because they are not that far away from Lucas. And Lucas is alone. Balin isn't backing down to help him. I feel like Balin thinks he's still got an opportunity to chase Jeremy for the win. But he leaves his teammate very vulnerable to a double attack. One of the attacks is coming from their rivals. Alex Santana is now just lining up Lucas for a move. Lucas will have no DRS to defend himself with. Here comes Alex then, as well as Max. Let's actually watch it from the Sauber's point of view. We'll just see a little bit more. There goes Alex, through into 3rd place. Whoa, Lucas broke so late he nearly lost the car in the hairpin. Now he's in trouble against Max. Max needs to get past now to give chase for a podium. But Lucas will have DRS against the Ferrari. He'll be using a bit of battery. Or no, he doesn't actually. Max is going to have to make a choice. Inside or outside? No. He stays behind the Red Bull for now. No, never mind. Perhaps the outside. Turn 3 or 4. Does he have more grip? He nearly loses the car there. He's got a couple of laps still. Alex Santana now past Lucas. This is going to cost FER valuable points. Time is running out in the championship. They've got 5 races after this one. Letting Alex past might be a crucial mistake. Zozo goes for soft tires. Tries to get the fastest lap from, I believe, Max Belmont. Yep, he still got the fastest lap of the race. Another opportunity then for Max to get past. Lucas is already out of DRS range. This should be an easy move. Alex is already at Bayland. There goes Max into 4th place. He's got a little bit of ways to go to catch Alex once again. I think he would have preferred to get past in the previous lap. Hasn't worked though. Can he get in the DRS range now though? He's getting a lot of time in the hairpin. Nope, just missing out, just barely. Actually, he does get DRS, look at that. No, never mind, I thought I heard the beep for a moment. But then again, I don't think I can actually hear the DRS beep when you're spectating, so never mind that. What a race though from VRM. Extraordinary. And indeed, it does explain many drivers starting on the hards. It is the way to go in China. And I think FVR have underestimated the strategy. Now they're paying the price. They've still got 2nd place, but Lucas is down to P5. They had 2nd and 3rd in the first stint. And now they won't gain as many points against VNT as they would like. They are lucky that Ivan is down in P16 and out of the points. Fighting with Speedy for P15. They will still gain on VNT, but it's not as much as it could have been. You also heard the beep sound. Okay, so I'm not the only one then. Interesting. Jeremy just locked in since the last lap in qualifying. Indeed he has. He says 3 seconds on Bayland. Who would have thought that a team that is not fighting for the championship would actually gap 2 of the fastest teams? No, Alex Santana, though, with a move. Bayland, though, has decided that this position he wants to keep at all costs. Trying to give Alex just enough space to get alongside him. Alex is going to line him up for another move on the main straight. Tries to go around the outside. Tries to make the swoop, and he makes it work quite easily, actually. Bayland yields. And Max might make the VRM double podium dream come true now. He's got Bayland well within his sights. But are those mediums still good enough to make those moves work? He will need Bayland to get out of DRS. Yellow flag for Ollie Hornby. He's having a race to forget for AMS. His teammate in P13. At least some points then for AMS, but their rivals in P5, one of them we're watching right now, are quickly vanishing into the distance in terms of points and positions. Zozo indeed does get the fastest lap of the race. An extra point there for SET. Jeremy is indeed a China merchant. Now, let's see if Bayland can do something against Max. He needs this position. He needs this position. He goes on the inside. Max tries to go and hang on around the outside. They are still side by side. Pushes him a little bit wide. But Bayland defends successfully. And Ollie Hornby retires in the pit lane. Only now as the first retirement happened. At the start of lap 27. Tries to go around side. Max Belmont for the final podium for VRM. Goes wide. Carries more speed into the next corner. Will Bayland still have an answer? He doesn't. And there is a double podium. Or is it? Because Bayland will try to fight tooth and nail for that final podium place. Not because VRM are a threat. But because they need all the points. All of them. Lucas Serra is now down to P6. FVR's great starting position of second and third has collapsed around them. This could have been another race for them to gain on VNT. They, as I said, they will still gain. But it's going not to be as much. Alex Santana desperately tries to catch Jeremy, but I think it's going to be too late. He'll have to catch 2.8 seconds on the final lap alone. That will not happen unless Jeremy makes a big mistake, and I might have just jinxed it. Max Belmont has got Alex in his sights. Bayland is far away now, already out of DRS. Actually, Max might go for second place. I think Bayland will want that to happen. Will it be a VRM 1-2 then? A VRM 1-2. I think nobody could have predicted that outcome. At times, VRM has looked really quick. But this is the moment that VRM might actually seal the deal. Tries to go around the outside on Alex Santana. Alex will have to defend. They'll have to get the most points possible. Gets on the inside, but now Max Belmont will have the inside line. Alex tries to get as much grip, but there he goes. Max into the distance? Question mark. Because Alex will, of course, get the DRS on the back straight. Perhaps Max Belmont is confident enough that he has enough straight line speed. Half a second between the Ferrari and the Sauber, and VRM have got their 1-2. Jeremy Gallagnier, look at that. Jeremy is backing out. Jeremy Gallagnier is going to help his teammate get DRS, I think. There's no way that the gap is dropping this much naturally. And look at that! Teamwork from VRM! This is what they need. Or is he actually too late there? Did he get DRS? We'll have to find out. But I think it's still going to be fine. Alex is too far back to make the move anyways. Let's see if Max's rear wing opens. It does open! VRM have done the ultimate teamwork with Max Belmont from P7 and Jeremy from pole position. This is their dream come true as celebrations will start in their garage. They have done it perfectly. A 1-2 for the Saubers. A 1-2 for VRM. Let the celebrations begin here. Unbelievable. I bet nobody would have predicted this one. Alex Santana completes the podium in P3. I think actually he'll be quite delighted with that one because he's kept both FVR drivers behind. And FVR is going to rue this day. And I think it was all because they started on the mediums. Incredible result though. I'm staggered. I'm absolutely staggered. Fair play indeed. A lot of respect coming in the chat as well to the team. I mean, it's fair play. They've done it all perfectly. I'm not sure if they expected Max to finish second. But goodness me. Pace is the first reaction of Jeremy Gallagnier in the Discord. All he says is, yeah, pace is strong. Pace is strong. The calmest reaction ever. Then again, it was just a text message, so I do not know how calm he is at the moment. I think he'll be absolutely delighted as Ace just linked the wrong chat room. They should be in this one, not the box. Wow, 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 wow. I really hope that at least one of them gets in the interview room now. I can see somebody else popping in and out of the waiting room. Ethan for AZR, but they were nowhere near the podium. These are the full results then. Let's not forget the rest of the drivers. Ollie Hornby, only DNF. ET8, another race to forget, really. TRT are gaining on them now, 7th and 9th. But then again, I think TRT, just like FVR, didn't really have the race they wanted. Lucas Serra, I have to say, for OMB P5. And P8 as well from Vettel. OMB have had a great day too. The teams you didn't expect it from have had the best races, but I think by far the best team tonight, VRM. China shows who practices more. I think that is completely true there, Danny. Like I said, I think Jeremy and Max have done a 24-hour of China practice, and it's paid off in full. The best possible result, pole position, a 1-2. All they were missing was the fastest lap, simply because Zozo stole it from them on the soft tires, but only by 0.2 of a second. Look at that. They've nearly done a full swoop, a full sweep of points there. 68 points, 67 is what they're going to get from this race. Mental. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint you. The top three, none of them are going to be joining us for an interview, I'm afraid, as looks like my camera has decided to not show my face anymore. Oh well, what can you do? That's a shame. Really was hoping that Jeremy or Max would give us some insight, but it is what it is. Either way, from me to the VRM team, big congratulations. You've done a perfect job. There's no other way of saying it. I know we're supposed to be objective as commentators, but I think it's simply to say they couldn't have done anything better here. Great job. 1-2 for VRM. VNT will be celebrating the podium for Alex, I think, as they have beaten both FVR drivers. Points-wise, FVR will be gaining something, but nowhere near as much as they probably would have liked. Hard to medium was effing outrageous, is what Diego Ferris says in the chat. As Thomas Robotham says, so was that hairpin. Interesting. Oh, we're going to get an interview. All right, we're going to get Alex Santana. That's great. Alex, thankfully, somebody in the interview box. I hope you can hear me. Well,
yeah, I can.
Excellent, I can hear you as well. Alex, tonight's race for VNT, was this a win, this podium, or did you hope for more?
I mean, I thought we had a bit more, but then seeing how fast the Brumbies were, we couldn't really do much. Like, GG's to them, because I don't know what they cooked on the setup, or maybe just practice or something, but they absolutely cooked. Like, their pace was not real.
Yeah, I see many people in the chat saying the hard to medium strategy was the way to go. Did you guys know that beforehand?
Yeah, we kind of knew a bit, but then when we saw, just before starting the race, when we saw that most of the grid was going hard mediums, it's just easier, because when you box for mediums, you don't have to overtake that many people. So I think it's more people doing hard medium than it really being that better strat.
Yeah, I mean, let's as you said, VRM have cooked indeed. They were the best team tonight. But for the championship, you will still lose a little bit of points to FVR. But how confident is the team by this point that they will be winning the championship for another time this season?
Yeah, we are in really good position, so we'll keep doing what we're doing. And even if things go like today, when we lose a bit of points, it's still not a crazy thing. So I think we can manage to keep it that way.
Yeah, and then up next is Belgium, of course. Will we see you guys return to the top step of the podium there?
I mean, I hope so. Since I've been here, we haven't really been there yet, so it would be nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy third place tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, Alex as well saying that VRM was the best team tonight. But then again, they are still confident for the title this season, and I think they have all the right to be. FVR could have gained much more on them tonight, and it didn't happen. And now there's only 5 races left. The first of them being Belgium next week on March 7th here for the PC division, followed by Mexico, Texas, Monza, and then we're heading once again to the States for Las Vegas in the final round of this 7th season here in CSS. A lot of exciting races then to come still. Really looking forward to see what the teams can do next. And is this going to be the rise for VRM in the standings? We'll have to wait and find out. At least for now, though, they'll have a big party for the team tonight. Thank you so much for joining me once again here this race. It's been a pleasure once again to commentate right here. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Until then, goodbye.